The human race is one of the most diverse species on Earth. Some people are tall, while others are short, and some have blonde hair, while others brown and black. Humans not only have natural differences, but also manipulated ones as well. No matter the circumstances, we are all special in our own ways. Keep watching as we cover the top 10 people you won't believe exist. Before we hop into the video, take a moment to subscribe and turn on notifications. Or don't and not be cool. Number 10. Mikhail Kobke. Making headlines in 2013, 24-year-old Mikhail Kobke shrunk her waist down to an insanely tiny 16 inches. Making the conscious decision to change her body shape, Mikhail began to sleep in a corset every night for 3 years, reducing her waist by 9 inches overall. At this size, her waist is smaller than most 2-year-olds. She still wears corsets with the hope of slimming her midsection down by another 2 inches and becoming the woman with the world's smallest waist. She has been strongly advised by doctors on multiple occasions to avoid going any further with her body modification, as it could lead to damage to her spine, preventing her from being able to stand up. Mikhail already suffers from multiple health problems stemming from the tiny size her stomach has reached. Number 9. Mandy Sellers. Born with a disease that no other human has ever been reported to have, Mandy is truly unique. Since the moment of her birth, Mandy was different, having been born with legs twice as long as other babies. Throughout her childhood and into adulthood, Mandy's legs never stopped growing. To this day, doctors still cannot explain as to why her legs continue to grow in size. In 2010, doctors were forced to amputate one of Mandy's legs due to medical concerns, but miraculously 22 months post-surgery, the leg started to grow back. Comment down below how you would react if your leg was able to grow back. Now her leg weighs over 40 pounds and has shown no signs of stopping. The only thing doctors do know about the disease is that it belongs to a group of genetic mutations that are so rare that 120 people have ever been known to have them. Number 8. Amu Haji. The dirtiest man in the world just so happens to live in a small village isolated by himself in southern Iran. Amu has no medical conditions or anything of that nature, he just simply refuses to bathe. For 67 years, Amu has rejected cleaning himself and nobody has any idea as to the reasoning. In his possession is a large steel pipe in which he uses to smoke the dried dung of animals. You did in fact hear that right, this man smokes dried poop out of a pipe. From the many decades of dirt, mud, and other debris caking up on Amu's skin, it resembles that of an elephant's, being grayish in color and cracked from being so dry. He's a lonely old nomad at 87 years of age and lives in a tiny brick room somebody built for him long ago. Number 7. Karason. Better known as Papa Smurf, Paul became internet famous after his skin turned blue. You might be wondering how his skin could possibly have turned blue of all colors. After suffering from a period of uncomfortable skin problems, Paul decided that the best way to combat the problem was to use a silver compound and rub it onto his face. In all fairness, the compound did in fact treat the skin problem, but to Paul's surprise, one of the side effects was a change in skin color, and to his horror, it was permanent. Silver had long been a treatment for such problems, but was phased out in favor of penicillin due to obvious reasons you now know. Number 6. Wang Fang. Born with feet that are literally backwards, Wang Fang has made the best out of an extremely rare situation. Her parents were warned by doctors when she was born that there was a high likelihood that Wang would never walk. Now at age 35, she has beaten the odds and has a regular life. Not only can she walk just fine, but she says she can run faster than any of her friends. She says the only difference between her and other people is that she wears her shoes backwards. Number 5. Claudio Oliveira. Born with his head upside down and pretty severe deformities in both his arms and legs, Claudio is someone who has persevered through all his hardships and inspires people all around the world. Shortly after Claudio was born, doctors instructed his mother to stop feeding him as they believed that there was no possibility he could survive. Against her doctor's advice, his mother refused and continued to nurture her child, never bringing him to a hospital again. Claudio went on to get a degree in accounting and has since become a motivational speaker. At 38 years old, Claudio has found his passion in public speaking and flies all over the world to deliver his speeches to thousands of people. He says he always likes to be busy working and tries to rely on other people as little as possible. Number 4. Mikhail Ruffinelli. This mom's hips don't lie, like at all, considering they measure 8 feet in circumference. Mikhail is a 39-year-old mother who has set the world record for widest hips in the world. Measuring 5 foot 4 inches tall and weighing 420 pounds, she says she sees no reason to diet as she has no health problems to speak of at the moment. Her hips are so wide that she must go through doors sideways and sleep on a 7-foot wide bed. She is a proud mother to 4 children and says her wide hips are mostly from childbirth and genetics. Her family adores her and she reciprocates that mutual love. Number 3. Carlos Rodriguez. Known around the world as Half-Head, although pretty rude, sums up how this man actually looks. Carlos, before his accident, lived a very normal life and believe it or not still does. It's said that a near-death experience would take something away from everyone, and in Carlos's case, it certainly did. After surviving a brutal car accident in which he was traveling at very high speed, Carlos literally lost half his head. Carlos now spends his time warning kids of the dangers of racing high-speed metal coffins around. Number 2. Tom Staniford. One of the only 8 people in the world to suffer from MPD syndrome, Tom makes the best of his situation and lives life like anyone else. The extremely rare condition Tom has doesn't allow his body to store fat under the skin and even on the soles of his feet. Born with a normal metabolism, Tom lived a regular childhood until the age of 12 when he started losing fat around his face and on his body. As a fully grown adult, Tom only possesses 40% of the normal muscle content of the average man. Due to his condition, his hearing also suffers, so he has to wear hearing aids. Ironically, with his body unable to store fat, he has developed type 2 diabetes because the fat levels in his blood are just as high as someone clinically obese. He doesn't let all that hold him back though, as Tom already graduated law school and is a champion in British national paracycling. Number 1. Brock Brown. This kid from Michigan is larger than life, standing at a massive 7 foot 8 inches and being the world's largest teenager. As a young boy, Brock was already taller than most men and in kindergarten was an insane 5 foot 2 inches. Brock's feet measure 28 inches long and he holds the title for the largest 3D printed shoes in the world. At his current age of 18 and his speed of growth, doctors say that Brock could easily surpass the current tallest man in the world, Sultan Qasim, who stands 8 foot 2 inches, in the coming years. But all that height and mass comes at a cost, as Brock suffers from the painful curvature of his spine and narrowing of his spinal cord.